Welcome into the Sports Buffoons Podcast. Welcome on in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, new to the show. Once again, here at Sports Buffoon Studios, this is Mike Silla running it with our boys over here, Tanner Dawson and Jason JG. What's up, fellas?
What's up, everybody?
What's up, yo?
Yo, what you been up to, guys, this past week? Anything cool?
Working. Oh, I went Monday, watched KU lose to Texas, so that's cool.
That is
up
cool.
in Lawrence, the Eric, so that was dandy.
Did someone get in trouble for storming the court? Was that a thing?
Yeah, Texas, because they haven't been there before.
Okay.
Stormed the court after beating KU. So
Gotcha. Got a little cocky. So.
yeah, they don't know what winning is anymore.
All right, we have a lot to talk about today, guys. We're going to make all you rich, maybe, theoretically, hopefully. But we're going to talk a lot about prop bets for the Super Bowl this weekend with the Rams and Bengals, as well as I have a little update on the McDonald's menu hack that we talked about last weekend.
Yeah.
And we're enjoying a little 3D energy today. We're behaving ourselves once again. What about you, Jason? What are you sipping on tonight?
Right now, I've just got a Gatorade Zero, but for the most part, I'm sober. Not 100%. Not 100%, but I'm probably like 70% sober.
I thought you said you were sober. I thought that was like a new word.
Yeah. I'm just slurring all over the place. So,
Okay.
but like I said, I'm sober, so don't worry too much about it.
All right, guys. What is your drink of choice on Super Bowl Sunday then?
Super Bowl Sunday, I want to do something special. So I've got a big bottle of Hypnotic that I've been saving for occasions like that. So I might break open that Hypnotic.
Perfect for the halftime show.
Yeah.
I love that
There
idea.
you go. Snoop Dogg would like that.
I'm just probably going to stick with some whiskey, so nothing too crazy.
Yeah, I'm just going to get drunk all day. I wake up, get drunk. No. I'll probably go to some breweries in the morning time-ish. I guess when I say morning, I mean noon. And just make it a whole
9
event of
a.m.
the day. Just by 5:30 rolls around, pretend like the Chiefs are in the game, and we'll be rooting for the team that looks the most red, I guess,
9 a.m.
since the
You're gonna
Chiefs
be
are out of this whole
breweries
thing.
up.
So, guys, are you excited for this matchup, though, with the Rams and Bengals? I think it's something interesting about it is we do have a couple of high-powered offenses to talk about today. Obviously, both coming from a similar structured scheme. Both of these teams actually ranked number 1 and number 2, respectively, in empty backfield sets. So they're always about bunch formations, empty backfield, getting everything spread out. Running 11 personnel is pretty frequent as well. So I think we're going to see something where we see a lot of passing involved in this game. Now, the better quarterback at the end of the day, that remains to be seen. I have my opinion on that. But, Tanner, what do you think right now going into this game? Where are your thoughts at with the Bengals and Rams game right now?
I'm kind of more interested in seeing how the Bengals come out and, respond to being the underdog in this game, essentially. You're coming out versus a team, Los Angeles Rams, that went out and traded first-round picks for the next 5-6 years to get big names. Von Miller, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, and they're just lining it up there. And, those guys aren't old by any means. They're going to come out there and hit you. And they actually have a pretty good rushing defense as well. So, it's just going to be kind of interesting to see exactly how Joe Burrow responds. Is he going to be the Titans guy that stands in the pocket and gets sacked 9 times? Or is he going to be a guy against the Chiefs where he comes out and runs the ball a little bit for the rushing yards?
Right.
So, that's kind of my interesting. Obviously, I think LA has the overall better team. But then again, the Bengals have the fire, the momentum going in too. So they just beat 2 pretty good teams, I'd say, in the AFC playoffs here.
Mm-hmm.
And the close games as well. So I don't know.
We're kind of seeing a game here, though, between a team built by free agency and one built through the draft. And oftentimes you see the teams built through the draft, there's the most successful, sustainable way to go about things, where a team like the Rams, who are structured in a lot of ways through free agency and through trades, obviously Stafford coming from Detroit, obviously Odell Beckham Jr., and on the defensive side, as you mentioned already, Von Miller, and some of those other guys, Jalen Ramsey on that team. These are guys that were brought in through free agency, through paying them, not homegrown prospects, where the Bengals are full of guys like Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, all those kind of guys. So it's kind of an interesting battle of 2 structured teams, structured differently, but also play similarly.
And you got to remember, too, the Bengals here had some injury concerns going into the last week of the regular season as well. That's why I didn't play in week 17, week 18. What do we call it now?
Week 18. Yeah.
But the Rams also got Eric Weddle come out of basically retirement for the last 2 weeks of the season. Now he's on the playoff squad and making some big plays. So healthy bodies help everybody out, and hopefully they're tied in for the Bengals. CJ Uzoma, Uzoma.
Apparently he's got it good in with Kay Adams, so that's
a
situation to watch unfold. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody, it sounds like it's pretty optimistic that guy will be there, but it sounds like the Rams tight end is going to be out.
Right. Now, Joe Burrow's going to have to move. Aaron Donald had 12.5 sacks this year, 19 tackles for loss. So sitting in the pocket's not going to be easy happening for the Bengals. Jason, what are your thoughts on the game before we get into the gambling portion?
I think for me, this is just a battle of wills. And the Rams, as we all know, have been here before in 2019. Not this exact roster, but they've been here before. They had Jared Goff back then as their quarterback. It's a little bit different this time around, because when I look what Matthew Stafford has done this year, he's 72% completion percentage just in the postseason. And I think the game plan for Stafford has just got to be to avoid mistakes. You look at Stafford during the regular season, he does have the number one QBR in the fourth quarter, the number one passer rating in the second half for the whole year. So I think it's not something where he's trying to prove himself. I mean, he's already done that. But let's be honest here. This is the biggest game of Matthew Stafford's life. And this is the biggest game and probably in the history of the Rams. So, everybody's building this up to be the Rams defensive line versus the Bengals offensive line. And I think there's something to be said about that, because I do believe that Aaron Donald is the best player in the game. And not to mention the fact that they've got Von Miller, Leonard Floyd. They are going to disrupt that Bengals offense. And do we really think that the Rams D-line is going to be upstaged by what Tennessee did to Joe Burrow in that wild card game?
Can't see it.
I find that hard to believe. And so I think you look at that Rams D-line, this is a statement game for them. And so you look at the fact that Joe Burrow was sacked 51 times in the regular season, 12 times in the postseason, that those numbers going up against that Rams defensive line, to me, it's not going to be Joe Burrow's fault if and when they lose this game. But the Rams are just the better roster. This is their moment of destiny for me, not to mention the fact that they're playing in their home stadium. And so I don't believe in rigged games. That's just kind of a conspiracy theory. But why do you guys think that, the Super Bowl was played, in Tampa Bay last year, and Tampa Bay won the Super Bowl? Right. Why do you think the game is being played in LA this year, and now all of a sudden you got the Rams in the Super Bowl? That shit happens for a reason, because we've never seen that before in history, and now all of a sudden it's happened 2 years in a row. There's something to that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's not really going to benefit one team one way or the other. I don't think it matters that much at the end of the day. It's not like a true home field advantage. Now it's even the traveling portion. Teams already traveled to this, obviously to LA over a week ago. So they've been there, and so it's not like you're having to hurry up and get off the plane and get ready. You're there. You're practicing throughout the week in LA and to get ready for this game. So it's not a big deal, in my opinion, to be playing at your home stadium, especially in a situation like LA.
No.
Now, if it was a thing where, like at Arrowhead, the Chiefs were playing at
It'd be
Arrowhead,
a little different.
That could be a different situation. But I just think that LA doesn't bring that true home field advantage like a lot of other cities do and stadiums do. But I think that Cooper Kupp is someone that's going to be a big piece of this game and how this unfolds. 846 yards after the catch for Cooper Kupp this season, and he almost broke Calvin Johnson's record for receiving yards this year as well. So he led the league in receiving after the catch, and 5.1 yards per reception, as a matter of fact, after the catch. Led the entire league. Pretty amazing, actually, to think about the kind of numbers he put up. Top 3 all-time, statistically. And I think that's just going to be something to watch out for. He's always open all the time. You guys might have seen we put out a highlight video of Cooper Kupp this past week, as a matter of fact. So all of his touchdown catches from the course of the entire season. If you have not seen that yet, go ahead, click through our channel, and you'll find it on there.
Was that song you had on there, like you reminiscing about the fantasy football season?
Absolutely. So if you thought that song was creepy, it was actually just the way I'm thinking. It was me being creepy because I love Cooper Kupp, and I had Jonathan Taylor on my team too. and I lost by 1 point in the championship. So I'm still a little bitter about that. We'll save that for a different day, though. All right, guys, want to jump into some gambling prospects for the people out there?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. Guys, this game right now, the Rams are favored by -4 in the Rams' favor. Over-under is 48.5 on this game. I do want to give you guys a quick stat real quick. The favorites are 35-20 straight up in the last 55 Super Bowls. So Rams being the favorite obviously already gives them an edge throughout this game. But what's even more about that, when the spread is 4 or more, the favorite is then 25-10. And so if you look at that win-loss percentage there, obviously the Rams, with their obviously giving them the 4 points, and they're the favorite team, great odds to win this game. I like that quite a bit. I have a few prop bets we're going to talk about in a few minutes, but Tanner, what do you have in mind about this?
As far as what you're saying, I think it favors the Rams by many, many means. Obviously, we just talked about a lot of it. But there's one thing I want to bring up about your spread stuff and records. It doesn't matter because the Simpsons are undefeated. Simpsons have the Bengals winning, guys. There's a prediction out there. Simpsons have the Bengals winning a Super Bowl. This could be it. This could be the Super Bowl for the Simpsons. And it's hard to bet against that, plain and simple.
Betting against the Simpsons, huh?
It's a hard one, man.
Well, I might have done that myself, and we'll see what Homer has to think about that.
But anyways, in the personal value, I'm going to take the Rams. Rams-Bengals, I'm taking the over for sure. Mm-hmm. I just think there's no way there's going to be a lack of offense like it with the Patriots, Rams.
There's too many explosive options in this game between Chase, Van Jefferson, Cooper Kupp, and T. Higgins. And Odell Beckham, there's too many names out there to not have explosive plays in this game.
Unlike the Patriots one, it was just too many weapons out there. And Sean McVay is not going to make the same mistake twice in this going into a Super Bowl and not executing on offense, first off. Second off, you have Matthew Stafford, not Jared Goff, at quarterback. That's going to help you tremendously. Pretty much a healthy Cam Akers coming into play. So Michelle's doing really well for the Rams. My favorite, Joey Mixon. I always say Joey, remember? He's been running hard. They got the weapons. I don't know, man. I'd say if it's going to be a Rams victory, it's going to be Rams favored.
You said what?
Sorry, Rams are going to cover.
Rams are going to cover. Okay, so you're saying you think the Bengals do win.
I'm going to say the Rams cover. I'm saying the Rams win, the Rams cover, and it goes over.
Oh, okay. Wow. So you're going against Homer Simpson then?
I am.
Wow. So we're going against the Simpsons now. And you are too, maybe?
I don't have a problem with that. I think the Simpsons suck, which is why I've seen like 2 of those episodes my entire life.
There's something wrong with it.
A lot of different bets. I love in this game, guys. So the first one, I'll just jump right into that money line, -185. A lot of people hate that number, but the last time I remember that number was during the presidential election. Joe Biden was -185 against Donald Trump, that exact same number. And guess what, guys? Joe Biden won. And so when I look at that -185, guess what? There's a reason for that number. It is guaranteed, set in stone. You can take the Rams to the bank, bet the farm on that shit. I don't care if you're betting 185 to 100. Just bet like $10,000 on it. I don't care. I love that number for the Rams. I also like the Matthew Stafford -170 to have more touchdown passes versus Joe Burrow at +130. I also like the fact that Snoop Doggy Dogg, they have +300 that Snoop Doggy Dogg will wear yellow/gold shoes during the halftime show. So +300 is a great number for that. Another number I like is scoring in the first minute of the game is +650, and that's for either team to score in the first minute. You've got some playmakers, Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp. You got a good defense in the Rams, so I think that's a good number at +650. Another interesting number that I would like to throw out there is that the price of Bitcoin goes up during the game. That is -130. You guys know there's going to be crypto commercials all over the place during the course of that game. Mm-hmm. So I do like the -130 of the fact that Bitcoin is going to go up during that game. The other thing I really like, and that was actually, by the way, that is the JG Easy Money bet of the week, is that the price of Bitcoin will go up during that game. The last one for you guys, will a non-quarterback throw a touchdown? Plus 600. I'm just going to throw that out there. OBJ, during the wild card game, he threw a 40-yard pass to Cam Akers. It wasn't a touchdown pass, but it did set up a touchdown. I don't think Sean McVay is going to pull any punches in this game. Like, this is the game of his life. He's been there before. He is not going to lose this game again, and he is going to be very aggressive. So I do like that number for a non-quarterback, a.k.a. OBJ, to throw a touchdown pass in this game at plus 600.
It's a good list you got there, Jason. I like some of those. I put some bets out on Bovada as of last night, as a matter of fact. I do have a parlay of Rams covering the 4 and the over 48.5. But then my other ones that I think you guys should take a look at are, we have Jamar Chase, longest reception, over or under 27.5 yards. I love the over on that. If you look at his numbers throughout the season, big play receiver, he is due to have something somewhere at least in the 40-yard range in this game. So over 27.5 yard as the longest reception for Jamar Chase. That's an easy one for me. And then I accidentally put in 2 bets for Stafford, exact touchdowns to be 3. And so I just hope that comes out to be the case, because I didn't mean to do it twice. I just did it twice. And so I say Matthew Stafford hits exactly 3 touchdown passes in this game. Now, that's going out on a limb. It's hard to predict exactly how many touchdowns someone's going to have. But my favorite parlay odds of this whole thing, I love the 3-way parlay of Sony Michel in this game, something I think everyone should look into. If you go to Bovada, you find Sony Michel to have 8 carries or more, 30 yards rushing or more, and at least 1 touchdown. That is amazing odds. I put $5 on that, and it could win 120. So if you got $25 laying around, you make that $500. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna put a hundo on that shit.
You know what I'm saying? So I love those, because here's the deal. Let's pretend Cam Akers isn't 100%. Let's pretend he even gets injured early on in the game. Sony Michel is now your full-time back, and you will hit that number right there. That is a guaranteed hit at that point, where it might happen anyway. It might happen even with Cam Akers being 100%.
Now, even Cam Akers being 100%, if the guy can't protect the football like he's had history of, Sony Michel hops right in there. So, yes, it's just pretty good.
All he needs is 8 carries, 30 yards, and 1 touchdown.
Oh, dude.
That's a big one.
If Cam Akers fumbles the ball one time, he's gone. He is done for the game.
So I love that parlay. So if you guys out there on Bovada, check that one out. I suggest at least throwing a few doll hairs over there at that parlay, without a doubt. But overall, I love a lot of the Rams picks in this one. I have the Rams to win straight up, obviously. And then that parlay I talked about with them covering the 4 and the over. But I think the over is the big thing to talk about, you guys. Now, the average over-under of the Super Bowl over the last 15 years is 50.5. And we're looking at 48. So why is it
48.
now down to 48.5 with 2 high-powered offenses? That's weird to me. I don't really understand why it would have gone down to 48 when the average is 50.
I think it's because it's not the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
I guess.
Patriots, Chiefs, I don't know, something with it. But, yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me, especially on this kind of game.
By the way, you said Snoop Dogg's shoes would be yellow or gold?
Either yellow or gold is plus 300.
I'm going white. White shoes for Snoop Dogg. And blue Gatorade. Blue Gatorade at the end for the Rams. Blue Gatorade and white shoes for Snoop Dogg. Is Eminem going to wear a hoodie or a hat? What do you think? Yes or no? That's one
hoodie. He's going to come out in a hoodie.
So you think either one?
I think
it's got. You can be either one.
Oh,
hat or hoodie.
Oh yeah.
One.
Yeah, he comes out one of the two.
Okay.
His new look is kind of the hat, so I think he comes out in the older look since he's going out with Dre, Snoop, and all those guys.
Well,
and he maybe transfers to a hat with Lamar.
Maybe that's my easy money bet of the week then. Eminem coming out with a hoodie or a hat.
I mean, I'd take that.
Yeah, I like that.
That's actually a really good bet.
I know. I agree.
That's an amazing bet.
By the way, the highest odds for the first performer is Mary J. Blige to come out. So Mary J. Blige would be the opener of everybody. And then like Kendrick Lamar and Snoop Dogg and everybody else. So
I disagree with that. I think Snoop Dogg is the opener.
Okay. Get everybody hyped up first with Snoop Dogg.
All right.
Is he going to smoke a blunt during the show? Or a joint?
Yes, he will.
Okay.
He will.
What do you got, Tanner?
I mean, we're just getting down the
Did I steal your thunder?
You kind of did. Like going down the way. The halftime show is my favorite thing.
It's my understanding he does not have to smoke a blunt. He just has to smoke, period.
And you're right.
Yeah, Smoke Dogg,
no, you're right.
Smoke on stage. Yes is an even, no is 130.
He could be having a vape or a hookah in the middle of the thing and be like, oh, he's smoking. That counts. So.
Oh my!
We got a lot of easy money bets going on.
Here's another good one right here. Right? Will any part of Eminem's performance be censored? Will they drown out Eminem at some point during his raps? I'm gonna go no.
I'm gonna say no.
I think Eminem.
I'm gonna say no on that.
Yeah, he's the god for God's sakes, and he knows what to do on this rap. So I'm not.
Well,
worried
not
about
to
him.
mention the fact that he's washed.
He's not
Kind of like a lot of other
What
sports
the
figures
world?
that we
What
know.
are
When
you
you're
saying?
Dude, when you're a washed guy, you've got to make a comeback by not cussing during a Super Bowl. That's how you start your comeback.
But you're gonna lose your edge. Then people don't care about you if you lose your edge.
I think they would care about him.
Don't you remember the rap he made about Will Smith? He goes, "Will Smith don't gotta cuss on my raps, but I do. So fuck him and fuck you too."
I don't think he's gonna do it, man.
All right, this is Eminem, guys. He's not.
I don't think
Unless
he
you think
gets censored because I think he does it right for the Super Bowl. But if you put him in a freaking concert venue, like a not Super Bowl, he knows 190,000 people.
He's not gonna get censored, dude.
Yeah.
He's not.
Is it gonna be like the Buffoons channel where we get one F-bomb?
No,
I've been.
I think it's gonna be
saving mine,
cleaner
by the
than
way.
the Buffoon.
Cleaner than the Buffoon channel. No, so no F-bombs at the Super Bowl. Then.
By the way, none of us have used that yet.
Use what?
The F-bomb. I'm just throwing
Well,
it out there.
I did a minute ago, but it was in quotes.
Oh, that doesn't count. That doesn't count.
Context matters, right? We should ask Joe Rogan about that. All right, Tanner, what do you have next?
I'm still stuck on that. Eminem's washed, apparently.
Oh, that's Jason's thing to figure out.
Hey, actually, here's a good one that's been controversial the last couple of weeks. What's the result of the coin toss, guys?
How is that controversial?
Because it's been tails, right? The Chiefs game, the Josh Allen, the Burrow overtime, right?
Sure.
So you're saying it's due. It's due
It's
for
due.
heads.
It's due for heads.
I like heads on that.
I'm going to have to go tails on that.
All right,
you ride
all
the
right.
streak. You ride the streak.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
I'll try. There's a couple other good ones down here. Where is it here? No, not that one. Man, there was a good one I saw before I was talking to you guys about the Snoop Dogg and Eminem.
We got you thrown off because we gave out all of our best prop bets already.
You threw those at me, and then Eminem, Jason is washed comment.
My favorite one is still though, like my real true bet, Jamar Chase over 27.5 as a longest reception. You got to take that.
I love that bet.
And then the Sony Michel one, someone's going to get rich off of that. That's going to be a
Here's a good one, right? Will any player be ejected for throwing a punch or fighting?
No.
I mean, these two are wound-up teams here, and Jalen Rams is on the other side.
So how much is the no on that?
No is minus 2,000.
2,000? So
no, that's a stupid bet. Why the hell would you do that?
I wouldn't bet on it in the first place. So just don't bet on that one. See, some of these bets are sucker bets, guys.
That's a sucker bet.
This is the time of year where everyone gets their money out and starts throwing it at the damn TV, hoping for halftime, this or that, and Bud Light and Taco Bell, and the length of the national anthem. And so but then they throw in these random stupid ass bets
There's so
on
many
here
weird
that we
ones
don't need to be
here.
paying attention to.
Like, will there be offsetting penalties called? Like,
all right, guys. Let
This
me
is so dumb.
ask you a serious question out here, just for a moment.
okay.
Should we be surprised though Zach Taylor is in the Super Bowl so quickly? It's only year 3 as head coach of the Bengals.
It's definitely a lot quicker than I thought it would be.
Right. I mean, it is because Joe Burrow's also advanced quickly to the NFL. I mean, last year as a rookie, we saw flashes, but we're seeing this whole season as the year's gone on him getting better and better and better. And I'm kind of surprised Zach Taylor's here. So what's funny is the Sean McVay coaching tree has at this point done a better job than a lot of the Andy Reid coaching tree has. I mean, you're looking at Zach Taylor now, Matt LaFleur, and then Brandon Staley for the Chargers. All those guys came from a disciple of Sean McVay, who is only 36 years old, guys. He's going to be coaching for a long-ass time. We're witnessing one of the current and future great coaches of our lifetime who's going to be around for a long-ass time in this league, probably with the Rams for, the next 10 to 15 years.
I mean, I'm not totally surprised. I think Zach Taylor had he showed promise last year before Burrow got hurt, right? And they knew they needed to do something. They went out and got free agents. They got a partner for Burrow with Chase, right? Somebody he can connect with that he already has a connection with. And then, I mean, really, I thought he was maybe get the playoffs, lose wild card, or lose somewhere in the early range, but then come out, improve the defense, improve that offensive line, and be a force next year. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, they've kind of overstepped their expectations on me.
Right, they're overachieving a little bit. We saw them more as a team like the Titans, actually, like in that range where you're good enough to get there, but not quite to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But you can at least compete in the AFC.
We knew they were a threat.
Right.
Let's just say that. They were a threat.
Yeah.
Now they're here.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not surprised by Zach Taylor. I think he's a really good coach, and I'm not going to take anything away from him. But to be fair here, Steelers, Ravens, and Browns, I would say all three of those teams had a down year. So that's not something you're going to be able to depend on year in and year out. And so he's a good coach, but I think he had a little bit of luck mixed in with that this year as far as that division is concerned.
That's fair too. Very fair too.
Yeah, guys, those of you listening and following along, if you have any prop bets that you're interested in us talking about, throw them on the screen for us. Send us a comment. We'd love to look at those as well.
Hey, I got a couple for you real quick.
Okay, what do you got?
Commercial to play first of the beers. Budweiser, Bud Light, Michelob, Bud Light Seltzer, Michelob Seltzer, or Cutwater.
You gotta go Budweiser, dude.
Yeah,
I'm thinking Budweiser.
I would go Bud Light, or there's that hard soda seltzer that just came out. I mean, if they're really trying to get that thing marketed, that could.
I think Bud Light goes out first.
I think Bud Light. That would make the most sense to me. Is there no Coors option?
No
Coors. No. The Coors not allowed on the Super Bowl.
No, they suck.
Well, they're better than Bud.
and then for my other one, I finally found here. What team jersey will Drake wear? With the Drake curse going on, guys.
Toronto Raptors.
Cincy or Rams?
Why does it have to be one or the other? Is there not another option on there?
That's it.
It's either the Bengals or the Rams. Okay.
Wager will be voided if he wears both.
Okay. Or none. I would
or
hope.
none. Yeah.
Okay. I would assume he'd go with the Rams just because it's in their home city. So I'm gonna go with Drake picking the Rams.
Dude, he's a superstar. He wouldn't dare walk in there.
We talk about that.
He's a superstar.
Right.
I think he walked in with a Bengals jersey because he's Toronto, and I think he walks in with a Bengals jersey in Cincinnati.
Toronto. He's still. How many hours is Toronto from Cincinnati? It's still a ways away.
I mean, it's still a good drive. But here's the thing: is he's gonna want Joe Burrow, and it's big digism, right? That's what he wants, and that's what he's gonna rep. I think he reps a Joe Burrow jersey, the Bengals.
I mean, hasn't Stafford played with a big dick all year too? So
yeah, but
what's the problem?
I don't know.
Why not rep the Stafford?
Stafford isn't as outgoing as Burrow.
He's not quite as baller as Joe Burrow.
There you go.
I guess
Joe Burrow's a little bit baller.
Stafford's just a stand-up guy.
You don't see Stafford out there dancing with his freaking cigar in his freaking mouth, but you see Burrow doing it. So.
Well, he's trying to be like Joe Namath from back in the day.
That's right. Showtime.
Anyways, guys, I did mention I had a little update on the McDonald's food menu hack, and yeah, it happened. I did the Crunchy McDouble on the way here, as a matter of fact, because I needed to report back to the people of the world about what I thought, and it tastes good. It's kind of stupid, but it tastes pretty good, and I had to make sure I had to ask for the tangy barbecue sauce to come with it. They don't just give it to you in the bag. I'm like, well, that's the whole effing point of the whole thing, is to have the barbecue sauce with the nuggets. Anyways, I'm going to give the menu hack a 3 out of 10. It's a 3 out of 10 for me in the menu hack of McDonald's. It's a good advertising ploy, but I just would not recommend. I know, sweet and sour. I know, AC, that's the best one. Sweet and sour sauce is the best, but they recommend the tangy barbecue ones, but the deal is they don't give it to you unless you ask. So I'm like, why would I want to eat this dry ass cheeseburger nuggets without any sauce on them, But then again, I remembered, oh wait, I'm in a McDonald's drive-through. I shouldn't be expecting such high things. So I'm gonna say don't do it unless you're feeling really skinny and just want to feel like a piece of crap. Then you could go do it and try it out. But otherwise, don't do it.
I just feel like it's a bullshit Ponzi scheme. Kind of like, remember when IHOP switched to IHOB a few years back, International House of Burgers? And they were desperately trying to figure out a way to get more revenue. That's what I feel this is for McDonald's. So I'm kind of pissed off about it. I'm not going for it. I'm not going for it.
You saw it. I showed it to you, man. It's not even worth it.
Yeah, it's not worth your time.
All right, I got it, guys. So let's get a final score prediction for the Bengals-Rams game coming up this weekend. Super Bowl, last football game of the season. We can do it. We can do it because then we'll have the scouting combine and we'll have the free agency and the draft and all the other great stuff. And I will be here with you every week talking about it, at least on my own if I have a chance.
Possibly, yeah.
I plan on talking Chiefs with you guys.
We'll get you moved in, maybe get you a little spot.
Am I going to move in here, Tanner? Just set me up a
You
little
sit
pot.
over there, dude.
Just sit in the
put little
corner,
curtains around.
put a microphone in front of my face and tell me to talk. So, and maybe I'll do it. So, final score prediction.
With your MVP pick as well.
Okay. Sounds good.
MVP pick as well.
I got you. Okay.
You want me to start?
You go.
All right. Final score prediction. It's a big one. I think it's a somewhere in the range of a 42-24 ball game, Rams. And I think Cooper Kupp wins the MVP.
Ooh, I like it. That's a good pick, Tanner. Your score's a little wild, but the Cooper Kupp,
that's what I'm saying. It's
Cooper
wild.
Kupp, Cooper
I said it was
Kupp
wild.
pick's good.
I told you it was wild before I said it.
Jason, I want to hear yours before I go.
All right. Well, we're going to go with Matthew Stafford as the Super Bowl MVP. I'm going to go 28-24 Rams, which would put that over-under at 52, which would mean that should be my second easy money bet of the week. You got to bet that over.
Yes, bet the over. I think we all love the over. Everyone loves the over right now.
Love the over.
I like the final score. Let me find my notes here. Yeah, we are looking at Rams 28, Bengals 24 is my score for this game here. So Rams do hit the 4 right on the head. So it's barely. And the MVP, I love the Cooper Kupp pick, Tanner, because you know he's going to be catching like 9 passes in this game for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns.
There's a prop bet in there for any player, 125 yards plus receiving yards in there to bet on as well. And I think you should do that because I think between Cooper Kupp and Jamar Chase, one of those guys are going to get it.
I'm just saying, Cooper Kupp's going to give you huge numbers. 9 catches minimum, 120 yards, and at least 1 touchdown, maybe 2. If he gets 2 touchdowns, you got to put him in the MVP discussion.
Right here. Any player, 125 plus, 160 for a yes.
Right. I like the idea of that. I think it's possible.
But you probably want to parlay it with something, right?
Sure. Yeah, I would leave that alone on its own on that one because there's still a chance it doesn't happen. You can still have 9 catches for 110.
That's true.
But I like Cooper Kupp as MVP as well. I think Stafford is close, but I think that let's say Stafford throws 3 touchdowns, but 2 go to Kupp. Kupp is now your MVP in my opinion because he's the guy who's always open, the guy who made the big play at the end of the game to make sure you solidified the win because he got the third down conversion, stuff like that. When you make those plays that really move the chains and keep the clock running at the end of a game, which the Rams will do with Cooper Kupp, that's who the ball is going to be going to. That's what wins you the MVP. I like Cooper Kupp to an MVP too, and to cap off one of the best receiving seasons we've ever seen in NFL history.
That's right. I'm with you.
All right, guys. Let's move it right along now. What was the next thing we were going to talk about, Tanner?
Was it your favorite Super Bowl food?
Super Bowl foods.
Right? Like, what do you eat during the Super Bowl, or what do you like eating during the Super Bowl, or what snack? It could be anything.
Yeah, honestly, the food's not important to me as much as the good beers and the whiskey. So really, like Jason would say, you don't want to eat too much because you want to make sure you get drunk, right?
Exactly.
so
but you want to drink, you want to get loaded first and then eat at the very end. And you do want to have good food at the end when you start to get hungry.
Your strategy is get drunk on an empty stomach and then you can eat whenever you're feeling like shit.
Yeah, like fourth quarter, maybe start of the fourth quarter you can start eating a little bit.
Yeah, I think overall though, I'm a chips and queso kind of guy, so that's always cool with me. Otherwise, like some thin Domino's pizza, that's always cool with me. I'm not like super picky on Super Bowl foods. I'm sure other people out there have great opinions on some of that stuff. I make really good crunch wraps, so if there was just like 3 people, then I could do that. But overall, like I don't know, it's difficult for me to decide like what's a good party food because I'm the one bringing the veggie tray to my Super Bowl party. And no one cares about the veggie tray guy. God damn it! So no one cares. He's not the coolest guy in the room at all because he didn't bring the fatty stuff and things with carbs. He brought the goddamn carrots and celery and ranch. I mean, no one gives a damn about that guy. So, crack dip, Tanner. What are your things?
No, crack dip's my favorite during the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Like I think we've had it here for a fantasy draft before, but put a little sausage in there and chorizo sausage with the cream cheese and everything. I mean, it just ends up being amazing. put it in the crock pot, let it cook. And that's all I need, because on top of getting drunk, there's your chips and dip of crack dip.
We're like the drunk food buffoons now. It's like I've been sober for 10 days, so maybe I'm just like daydreaming about what to drink and eat on Sunday.
Yeah. That's probably what it is. Your dreams again.
Yeah, I mean, I love the chips and queso. A lot of people out there like to make the 7-layer dip.
Yes, that's
and
one
I
of my
can
favorites.
Appreciate that. You can't go wrong with nachos,
Yep.
right? Who doesn't love that shit? But I'm going to put a vote out there for somebody to bring in Kansas City Joe's barbecue one day to a Super Bowl party. That to me would be the ultimate, because I'll eat that every day of the year. That would be my favorite if somebody might bring it into my Super Bowl party.
No, so I had some KC barbecue versus the Niners games of the Super Bowl on top of the crack dip. So
Ooh, on top of the crap, like did you?
I didn't mix it. Usually, so I respect barbecue more than anything else, so I will not mix it with other stuff.
Right.
But if I have like just a plain burger, that shit's on top.
So that's not a menu hack. You got to eat those things separately.
You got to separate the barbecue, and like there's certain things you have to respect. And barbecue's one.
Gotcha. Well, guys, the off season is upon us. By the time we're speaking a week from now, we will be in full-on NBA mode, essentially, because baseball is not happening anytime soon, as far as I know.
Away.
Is baseball even close, Tanner? Have we heard any updates?
No. Baseball. So basically, the owners right now want a federal mediator. The players have rejected it, saying we're not doing that because you're going to screw us over, essentially. So right now, it's just a big postponement. Players are ready to negotiate. The owners want a mediator, and essentially that's where we stand. Not a lot's happening.
Right, there's a lot of stalling going on, and the thing is that sucks the most is that both coaches and players are left out of the loop on the entire thing, where they're not able to communicate together, and also they're literally waiting for like Twitter to break some news to them to let them know when they can start getting back in the clubhouse.
Wait for the phone call.
Together.
Yeah.
And so you're sitting around playing Madden all day, like our buddy Connor.
Golfing on 60-degree days in Kansas. Hey,
that's his
that's
new
the
life,
man.
That's his new life. He's basically retired. You know, he never even got going, but he's retired. So good for him, man.
I just hope they don't. I hope they don't ruin the damn sport like they almost did back in 1994. And then you had guys like Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire, Barry Bonds, who had to try to bring it back to life.
Now, speaking of those guys, did you see that the drug testing for
expired
December,
right?
Was it January 1st or December 1st? So they're not testing for it, and that could maybe escape the CBA.
So now we can just go ahead and bring Jose Canseco back into the league, and he can start hitting homers again.
Can we get some stuff for the pitchers again, like we talked about last year?
The sticky stuff.
We
need that.
I want that, baby.
Spider tack?
Spider tack. That's what
right.
It is.
Now, guys, are you in favor, though, of that? I mean, I think we talked about this before, but do you think that the MLB at this point, now that it's expired, should they just forget about it, or should there be some kind of restriction around
There should be restriction.
steroids?
I think it should be controlled, right? I mean, obviously you're going to have certain players that are going to probably need an extra help to get through the 100, whatever.
You only get so many doses
games.
of steroids? Is that what the control means?
Like controlled, like it has to be seen by a doctor, a reasonable, or something with a team doctor, right?
Mm.
You can't just go out there and shoot the shit and be done. Right?
Just give them a booster shot.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is.
Well, here's the thing, dude. When you have a dying sport like this, you have to do something drastic. And so my vote would be to just let everything play just for like 1 or 2 years. So the pitchers can use spider tack, use whatever the hell you want. Hitters, go get drunk and do marijuana every fucking game. I don't give a shit.
So you're saying
just let them do whatever the hell they want.
Bring the 70s back. Bring the 80s back.
Basically, yeah. Sure. Just see what happens, because you might actually bring the sport back from the dead, and that would be a good thing for the game of baseball, because I don't want to see it die.
Right. So maybe just what you're saying is give a little touch of some attitude to the game and see what the fan bases think about it. But then again, you're going to have the old timers who are going to be pissed off about, all these damn kids these days are just getting juiced up and all this. But I think that maybe you got a point, though, to a degree, because the MLB does need something to get them fired back up, because fans are already going to be pissed off about MLB with their lockout anyway. That I think they need to have something to give them an extra little oomph going into whenever games do roll back around. Otherwise, people are going to be like, well, I've seen this enough times. you guys keep doing the same thing over again, and we don't care anymore. But I think baseball could be fun to watch if you just kind of let them go haywire for a year or two.
It's also
just let it ride, dude. Let it be like WWE.
So it did feel good this weekend. I did get to go see NAIA game, McPherson versus Benedictine. And McPherson, the game I went to lasted 5.5 hours because it was a no mercy game, and ended up being like 20-4 or something like that, or 20-8. So it's. The games are too long, of course, but there's a lot of stuff there. But it was really nice just to see baseball being played.
I've always told you guys, I know it's going to ruin all the records, but I would take away 62 games from this MLB schedule. I want a 100-game MLB season because it's going to make the games more valuable. Or I just, in the middle of the year in June or July, you see a game on, you're like, I don't give a damn, there's another one tomorrow. And you don't really care about the outcome of the game, where I think if you cut off some of those games, then every game becomes more valuable when it comes down to deciding playoff teams. And I understand you're rewriting history by doing that.
Yep.
But I still think that it would make the game more valuable on a day-to-day basis than what it is currently. I mean, even in the NBA, they play, 82 games, Jason?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Well, even then, those games matter because you're not playing like double that, which is what baseball is doing. So even, the Lakers just lost last night to the Milwaukee Bucks. Lakers might not make the playoffs. And it's because they only have this many games to work with, where if it was baseball, you lose a game, who cares? You lose a game, who cares? Eventually that adds up over time, and then it does matter towards the end of the year. But every game's not as valuable as it would be. Like, that's what makes an NFL and football so special, is it's played once a week, and every game matters. Every game dictates where you're going to fall when it comes time to the postseason.
Yeah, I actually like that idea because that makes sense to me. That makes sense because every game is going to count just a little bit more.
But you're rewriting history is the problem.
Dude, we're writing history anyways. We're doing it with the NFL right now, adding on an extra game.
Mm-hmm.
We do it by taking away preseason games. We do. They did it when we went to a 16 or 17 week schedule too for the NFL. So It's just adjustments needed to make by a sport in an era, and sometimes it's cutting out some of the games to make it seem more important.
So that's the other solution that I have for the game of baseball. And I understand these people out there that don't want to allow the drugs and the steroids and all that jazz. And I appreciate that. But here's a different way that you could solve the problem. Just allow players to fight. So if there's a bench clearing brawl, just let it go. And you will see your ratings go through the roof like you've never seen before. If they just did that for like a couple of years, dude, I'd be tuned in every day. Like, if I knew my team was going to fight the other team and just freaking try to kill each other, like, dude, you can't, don't lie to me. You would watch that shit every fucking night.
Now what I'm hearing is you're watching.
Wait, you put the Royals back from 2015 when they won the World Series.
No,
you were fighting like every week.
Dude, here's what I want. I want Hal McRae back from the early 90s, who had the greatest manager rant in the history of sports coaching and or managers. That's what I want back. When he can just like talk to the media, tell them whatever they want.
Well, yeah.
The players can fight each other and the umpires are not going to hold them back. Do you have any idea what that would do to the ratings?
Are you talking
it would
hockey?
blow up, dude.
This sounds like hockey.
Dude, it's better than hockey because they're trying to reach out to the younger generation that doesn't give a shit about baseball. How do you do that? You just go ahead and let them fight. And now all of a sudden, you're going to lure in that younger generation. Your ratings go through the roof and everybody's happy because I can turn on the TV and watch my favorite baseball player, whether it's Mike Trout or whoever the hell it is, beat the hell out of that freaking pitcher that just beamed him in the ass.
Can I just say real quick, as a future Little League coach, this sounds horrendous idea. Because then you're going to have a fucking bunch of little leaguers sit here and fight the other team in a tournament ball game because they didn't get their way. This is awful. I don't like it.
It might be setting a bad precedent, is what Tanner's saying, to the younger generation.
All I'm saying is, when you have a dying sport, you have to take drastic measures.
Yeah,
so that I'm trying to
games.
save the sport. I'm not trying to kill it. I'm trying to help these guys out to make good
It
decisions.
sounds rough.
All right, guys. We have one more thing to go over today before we wrap it up. But I do want to say the NBA trade deadline is coming up here soon, right?
Tomorrow, 3:30 Eastern.
It's tomorrow?
Tomorrow, 3:30.
Dang.
It's coming quick.
How come nobody told me?
Keep your eyes peeled.
you didn't
So
look.
speaking of fighting, Jason, there was a basketball player recently in the news talking about he wishes that we could go back to some fighting, as a matter of fact. And it was our boy from the Bulls, Tanner. Bulls? Yeah, you love?
I love the Bulls.
No,
Are you talking about DeRozan?
No, not DeRozan.
What are you talking
The
about?
player from the Bulls that you love.
Well, let's see. We got Lonzo Ball. We've got Nikola Vucevic. Who else we got over there? Alex Caruso.
What are you talking
Let's
about?
just
All right.
name off their entire roster.
Is he still
and
on
see
the
if we
team
figure
even?
out what the heck you're talking
You made a
about.
whole you made a whole rant about him one
Are you
time.
talking about Jimmy Butler?
Yeah, Butler, Tanner.
For Miami?
I don't know where he's at
okay.
anymore. He used to play for the Bulls.
He'd be a good fighter. I'd like to see him fight.
Look, yeah, like Jimmy
Look,
Butler's a whole
It's
different.
Dennis Rodman. Yeah, thank you, AC. That's what we're talking about. No, Jimmy Butler did, as a matter of fact, come out recently and says he wishes that they were allowed to get a little more physical and fight some more. So Butler wants to get physical and fight. He wants to bring some attitude to the sport, just like Dennis Rodman did at one point. So, with the NBA trade deadline coming up, my point was, this is why I'm the NBA buffoon. And welcome to NBA season with Mike, because I might be able to tell you some knowledge and give you some money when it comes to football betting and football knowledge, but this is just the beginning of NBA season for NFL Mike, trying to talk about the NBA every once in a while. So, anyways, guys, what are your thoughts on the deadline coming up, and what should we be expecting?
So let's talk about the deadline here. So the way I see it right now, we've got 3 teams in the NBA who are an absolute circus show. I've got the Lakers, the Nets, and the Sixers. So the Lakers right now are the biggest circus show in the league. Right now, they are the number 9 seed. They are 18 and a half games out of first place. They absolutely suck, even though they have LeBron James on their team. The Nets right now are the number 8 seed in the East, 5.5 games out of first. Sixers are the number 5 seed, 2.5 games out of first. So let's start with the Lakers, guys. I want to know your thoughts on what it's going to take for these guys to right the ship, because right now they've got a guy by the name of Russell Westbrook, formerly known as the player that used to be known as Russell Westbrook, and they lost their ass last night to the Milwaukee Bucks, the defending champs, 131 to 116. And we all know that the Lakers have a bad roster right now. It's like basically you got LeBron James and an Anthony Davis who likes to play basketball sometimes, but not really, and then a shitty-ass roster. You got Russell Westbrook, who is shooting 29% from three-point land. That does not spell NBA player to me. You got a guy by the name of Malik Monk who's getting far fewer minutes than what Russell Westbrook, shooting 40% from 3. So they got some problems over there. And my opinion is that the Lakers are cooked unless Russell Westbrook can turn back into Russell Westbrook, which I don't think that's going to happen. There's been talks that they might try to just get him off the books by trading him to the Rockets for John Wall, which would actually make them better. That's interesting sad.
One right there.
That is very sad that I'm telling you right now. And the only reason I'm saying it is because John Wall is a much better defensive player.
I would take John Wall right now over.
Yeah, and
Westbrook.
so it's kind of like at some point you got to get what you can get for Westbrook. But as far as the Lakers are concerned, you guys give me your opinion, because I'm getting sick and tired of it.
Well, I just want to shout out my thing real quick, and I just think that it's a team full of old former superstars who've been there, done that, won rings, and they have nothing left to prove. And there's something that I see in younger players, like my boy Devin Booker. He's got a lot of drive to his game. He cares a lot about winning.
Yep.
He cares a lot about taking over a game, and he's got that. You look in his eyes, he's got that Mahomes-like of attitude of just like he does not like to lose. You could see that fire in his eyes. And this team is full of guys, as you talked about, all in their mid-30s that are worth the crap here. And it's not fixable. This team is what it is. It's a fun little tour with LeBron and friends, with Carmelo, and you got Westbrook in there, Anthony Davis hanging out, Dwight Howard. And that team is what it is at this point. And I don't see them making the playoffs because they don't have any drive or willpower to want to succeed at this point. They've already proven everything they needed to prove. and they're going through the motions at this point. It's not fixable.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, Mike, because as we've stated before on the show, they are the oldest NBA roster in the history of the game, all the way back to the beginning. But, Tanner, I want to throw it to you here because the one thing that I get sick and tired of hearing in the media is that Anthony Davis is a top 5 player in the league. You know, they say, oh, the Lakers should be good. They have 2 of the top 5 players in the league. That's bullshit. Anthony Davis nowhere near a top 5 player in the league because I can name off, we'll just go down the list. I've got Giannis, KD, LeBron, Joel Embiid, Steph Curry, James Harden, Jimmy Butler's having a better year, Karl Anthony Towns. I'll even throw LaMelo Ball in there. And I'm not saying that as an insult, but right now LaMelo is a better player than Anthony Davis.
You could name more. I mean, you really could. To where AD is at right now. Here's my thoughts with the Lakers, and you kind of heard it from LeBron when he talked last night after that loss. That the question was like, "Hey, are you guys basically was are you guys not that good?" kind of thing. Like, could you get to that talent? Could you get to that level where Milwaukee is? And his response after a pause and reiterating the question was, "No, we're nowhere near that, and we're not going to be." And I mean, that's unfortunately, there's only one guy that can help the squad become that level, as that's on the team right now, right? Not being traded. It'd be Russell Westbrook. And he has to turn into the Russell Westbrook that we've seen for the last 10 years or whatever, right? He needs, like, we've known him as an aggressive shooter, an aggressive driver. Defense it's been all right, usually at times, but he doesn't take it strategically, the game, and I think that's what's hurting the team. You have LeBron there who does, he views everything. It's like he knows when he gets the ball where everybody's at. You can see it in his mind, like, all right, I know what I'm going to do. Versus Westbrook, when he inbounds it, straight to the hoop, baby. Straight to the hoop, and then you miss it. And you saw a play, I can't remember if it was last night or the other night, but it was an inbounds play, and Westbrook did not do anything that he was supposed to do. Essentially, he went off to the hoop instead of, it was like a pass, three-pointer, call it good. No, instead he just took it to the hoop. And it's aggressive. But unfortunately, he's also not making those shots. And that's hurting the team as well. It's hurting the momentum. It's hurting the team. And you're not going to win that way. So, unfortunately, it comes down to one guy, and it's a guy that's shooting 29% right now.
Well, I'm going to tell you this right now because there's a lot of talk and rumors that the Lakers are desperate to move him by tomorrow. And I'm going to tell you this right now. If they do move him, this is not to try to improve the team this year. It's for next year and beyond because if you're just going for this year, it doesn't matter.
Correct. Now,
they have no shot.
There's a couple trade scenarios. You mentioned one already. The other one was to go grab Kemba Walker and somebody else with a few draft picks attached to that Russell Westbrook pick. But the Lakers came out today and said, we are not giving up our number one first round pick. It's not going to happen. So I don't think you're going to get any buyers on this Westbrook deal without that one. Maybe you're going to give up a 2-2 or something like that and maybe get somebody less like John Wall. Or you go out and get your Kemba with a 1 and 2 and possibly another 2 with Westbrook.
The bottom line is it is a shit show in LA. They are not going to even make the finals this year. But let's move on to the Brooklyn Nets and the Philadelphia 76ers because they are in intensive trade talks right now as we speak. And the guy that wants to be traded is James Harden. So he is disgruntled right now. The Nets are currently asking for Ben Simmons and 2 to 3 players and or a pick. And so I want to know for you guys, if there was a trade that happened, who do you think would win that trade? Let's just say that it's Ben Simmons and Seth Curry and a number 1 overall pick. Do you think that makes the Nets better, or do you think that the Sixers would be a better team at that point?
Nets win that trade by far. First off, you get rid of that kind of player who did the same thing back in Houston to get to New Jersey or Brooklyn or whatever they want to call themselves now. And then they never really played with, Durant, Irving, and Harden never really played with each other the entire time. The year and a half now, I guess, going in. So you got that. You got execution. Now he's basically tampering the, hurting the Nets by not performing. And he said there'll be more to come if he doesn't get traded.
Well, he is close with the GM of the Sixers, which is Daryl Morey. Like, he has a personal relationship with him. And
go for it. I'd say if I was the Nets, I would do the trade. Get Seth, because Seth is a way better shooter than not way better shooter than what you got, but it will help the depth of that team. On top of Ben Simmons, who's a healthy body, as you're going in closer to playoff time here in a couple months.
And I agree with you. It is a good trade for the Nets, but I think it's an awful move for James Harden, because I've just learned today that New York is getting ready to lift the vaccine mandate, which is huge because, as you've stated, I thought it was just the mask mandate they were lifting. No, it wasn't both.
The vaccine. Was it
the
both?
whole thing is going away, and I think it might be as early as tomorrow, which is the trade deadline, ironically. But if you're a big three like that and you've rarely played together, you're a guy like James Harden. Why in the hell would you not want to give it a chance? Like Kyrie Irving, I actually have him kind of in the same realm as Anthony Davis, because neither one of those guys play consistently.
He's not playing well either.
But I mean, Kyrie, when he's on the floor, he's a top 5 player in the NBA. If you're James Harden, why wouldn't you give it a shot when you know all of a sudden Kyrie's going to be playing in the home games?
And what makes you think Harden's going to go out to the Sixers and you have a coach like Doc Rivers who's not going to put up with your stuff, and essentially he doesn't have a problem benching you? Look what he did with the Clippers, right? He'll bench whoever. Like, if you don't perform, you're sitting down, buddy. You're coming off the bench if not at all. So I don't see Harden's reason for that.
Yeah,
right
I really see more of James Harden's ego more than I see a drive for James Harden to try to win a championship.
You saw it in Houston. You saw it now.
Yeah. Mike, do you have any thoughts on that?
I wish the best for everybody. That's my thought. Just peace and love, and let's keep fighting out of sports besides boxing and wrestling and so on. And besides, let's throw it back into baseball. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have a lot more to talk about come next week after the trade deadline, because there was other trades that happened. But it'll be a really interesting situation to see what happens here.
I do want to point out, by the way, breaking news, kind of. The MLB and MLBPA Players Association is set for Saturday to have their next meeting over the CBA. So we'll see if anything new unfolds from there. Hopefully they make some progress, but so far nothing has really gone anywhere. But Saturday, at least it's better than no news, So they have their next meeting scheduled for MLB. So maybe they can go over steroids in that meeting coming up this weekend. Guys,
can't agree on one thing. There you go.
I do want to say thank you so much to some of the new subscribers we have. So thank you so much for joining us and hanging out. We'll be here. I mean, we're always here. I mean, we're going to be here all off season of the NFL, talking about free agency, draft, everything, as well as NBA topics. Yes, so
definitely,
we try to cover it all, you guys, and anything you want us to talk about, we're willing to talk about. So
big show next week.
No, what's that?
Big show next week.
What's that?
Episode 100.
That's
everybody.
Right.
100 podcasts of the Buffoons here.
Yeah.
Through the ups and downs of technical issues, through the ups and downs of drinking, through
ups and downs of buffoonery.
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 And that's exactly what we are. But we are appreciative. Next week, let's do a big show, guys, here for our 100th episode. I don't know what we're going to do yet. We haven't talked really about it. I have some ideas, but we're going to see. But please join us next week for episode 100.
Super excited. So, you guys have any final thoughts?
Rock chalk, baby.
Whatever, Tanner.
Have a good night. Get drunk. Let's go.
I'll see you all on the next one.
See you guys.